jail sentences, and betrayal. It's the story of Charlotte's Web.
Some choices are irreversible. Some mistakes can cost you everything. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that a single decision has shattered your entire life. A choice made in desperation, in love, or in fear, leading to consequences that can never be undone. This is the story of Charlotte Lindström, a young woman whose ambition turned into infamy, a woman who stepped into the world of crime, blinded by love, only to discover that the price of loyalty can be devastating. Charlotte Lindström, once a bright young woman with dreams of success, found herself entangled in a web of crime, deception, and danger. This is the story of how one fateful decision turned her life upside down. Born in Sweden, Charlotte Lindström had everything going for her. Intelligent, ambitious, and full of potential, she moved to Australia seeking new opportunities. But beneath the surface, a different path was waiting for her. A path that would lead straight into the arms of organized crime. At first, life in Australia was exciting. She was surrounded by new people, new experiences, and a chance to build a promising future. But fate had other plans. She met a man, a charismatic and influential figure, who introduced her to a world she never imagined being a part of. A world of power, secrecy, and danger. Charlotte fell in love with a man who was deeply involved in the world of drug trafficking. He wasn't just a small-time dealer. He was connected to powerful figures in the underground drug empire. That love would soon become her downfall. At first, she was a spectator, watching from the sidelines as he made deals, evaded law enforcement, and accumulated wealth. But when her boyfriend found himself in legal trouble, everything changed. The authorities had gathered enough evidence to put him behind bars for a long time, and he was desperate to find a way out. That's when Charlotte was given a task, one that would test the limits of morality and loyalty. The assignment was simple, yet deadly. 2 key witnesses were set to testify against her boyfriend. Their testimonies would seal his fate. There was only one way to stop them: eliminate them. Charlotte was instructed to arrange the murder. It wasn't a request, it was an order. Whether out of fear, love, or desperation, she accepted the mission. She reached out to individuals who specialized in making people disappear. But the deeper she went, the more she realized she was in over her head. There was no turning back now. She thought she was being careful, using coded messages, meeting in secret locations, keeping a low profile. But crime always leaves a trail, and the authorities were already watching. Unbeknownst to Charlotte, law enforcement had intercepted her messages. They knew about the plan. They knew the names. They knew everything. In a dramatic and meticulously planned sting operation, the police set their trap with precision. Every move was calculated, every conversation recorded, and every detail documented. Charlotte Lindström, believing she was just a step away from finalizing the deadly plan, had no idea she was walking straight into the hands of law enforcement. What she thought would be a final meeting to confirm the hit instead turned into her downfall. In the blink of an eye, she was surrounded, arrested on the spot with no chance of escape. It was a shocking fall from grace for a woman who once had a bright future ahead of her. Charlotte had been a young woman with potential, ambition, and privilege, but all of that crumbled under the weight of her own choices. The charges brought against her were undeniable: conspiracy to commit murder. There was no escape from the evidence stacked against her. The messages, the payments, the chilling conversations, all painted a picture of someone willing to go to disturbing lengths for love, loyalty, and desperation. When Charlotte stood before the court, she could no longer deny the truth. With the evidence laid bare and the media frenzy surrounding her case growing louder by the day, she pleaded guilty. Sitting in the cold, impersonal courtroom, She listened as the prosecution unraveled every twisted detail, how her desire to protect someone she loved led her down a path of crime and betrayal. The courtroom was packed with spectators, reporters, and curious onlookers, all captivated by the tale of a seemingly ordinary young woman who had become entangled in such a dangerous scheme. What drove her to this point? Was it love, manipulation, or a dangerous combination of both? As the evidence piled up, the answer became increasingly clear. Charlotte had allowed herself to become a pawn in a deadly game, one that would cost her everything. Her sentencing was as swift as it was inevitable. 10 years behind bars, a full decade to reflect on how her life had spiraled so far out of control. The courtroom, which had been abuzz with whispers moments earlier, fell eerily silent as the judge delivered the final verdict. Charlotte, once accustomed to a life of freedom and luxury, now faced the cold reality of prison walls. Behind bars, the days stretched endlessly before her. With nothing but time, Charlotte replayed every choice, every moment where she could have turned back but didn't. The sterile walls of her cell were a constant reminder of the price she paid for loyalty, desperation, and misguided love. Her name, once associated with promise and potential, was now permanently tied to a chilling crime. Charlotte Lindström's story serves as a chilling cautionary tale, a stark reminder of how quickly life can unravel when temptation, greed, and blind devotion take hold. It shows how even the most unlikely people can be seduced by the darker side of human nature. And no matter how alluring the promises of wealth, power, or love may be, crime never pays. Though Charlotte eventually served her time, the stain of her choices followed her long after the prison gates opened. The shadows of her past would forever haunt her. This was Shadow Wave Crime Story. Stay tuned for more chilling tales of true crime, where the truth is always stranger and darker than fiction.